Time is 6:01. Roll call.
John Ward here.
Matthew Whitten here.
Ashley Blumen's not here.
Cody Cook here. Cody Anderson here.
Everybody will stand for the pledges.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
What you want to do in prayer?
Thank you. Father, we come to you this evening and we just ask for your blessing on this meeting. Thank you for everything that you have done for us. God, and protect us throughout the week, and we'll give you thanks in Jesus' name. Amen.
Get us up there though.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. We're going to get started today. This is going to be a brief, heavy meeting, but I'm going to get through the briefs as quickly as I can so that we can come to our decision item. The briefs that we have for you today, first off, we have the Texas Municipal League Certified Municipal Official Program. I do have Miss Shelby Bonin on the Zoom right now. She's a representative from TML who's here to talk to us about this pretty cool program. The next item is to talk about the City Administrator contract. Following that, Zach Tech's Correctional City Officer Service Proposal. Then an update regarding the CDBG grants, followed by a community project funding appropriation request. That's a mouthful, but I'll explain it when we get to the brief. Continuing on with the briefs, we have a proposal from Cave Consulting regarding a website update. We have a brief going through a regional examination of water rates. We have a waterline extension policy to discuss and an RCP program grant update. And so without further ado, Mayor, if it's all right with you, we'll go ahead and get started. Shelby, I'm going to say a couple things and then I'll turn it over to you.
Okay, thank you.
So the Certified Municipal Official Program, it's a program run by TML. Y'all are aware of TML. It's the Texas Municipal League. Texas Municipal League is the professional group that represents municipalities all across Texas. It's not just city managers and it's not just elected officials, it's both together. TML is the big representative body of municipal government in Texas. And they have a really cool program called the Certified Municipal Official Program. And what it is it's a program that you can do to participate with TML, and you participate in certain classes, certain educational events, certain conferences, certain networking events, and once you accrue enough credits, you can be certified as a TML recognized municipal official. I've met a bunch of these people who've been through the program and all expressed that they benefited from it. And all of the certified municipal officials who I've encountered have been good, have been impressive people. And so I invited Ms. Shelby here to talk to us about that today. Shelby, I'm going to switch over to Zoom. You should be able to share.
Hi, everybody. I'm Shelby. If y'all don't mind, I'm going to keep my my camera off. I did send a request to share my screen. I don't know if it's going to allow me.
I clicked the button to allow you to share it.
Okay, let me try again.
Okay.
Okay, which one is it in? Are y'all able to, is it on the,
We're seeing your screen right now.
She had it up.
which one?
The one that has the meat box on it.
Okay. Let me.
She had it up there.
I don't know why it won't let me switch over.
Well, we just saw the pain preview, so we saw some of your slides.
Nope. No. It is not gonna let me share from the one I need to.
Can you drag the application over and show us the slides?
I've. It's not.
Hey, just full screen what you've got, and we'll go off of that.
Okay, that works. Okay, so my name's Shelby. I am the training coordinator, the sole manager of the CMO program. It is new. It did just start this past year in 2025. I've had a good amount of people complete it, so it is possible. For initial certification, you have to be an elected official, a current one, and you must hold office. You can't be coming in and doing it. You have to receive 60 CEUs in order to complete the program, I'm sorry, and receive certification. You can complete it within 1 year if you really just go through and do all the trainings that you need to. I think the most difficult part for some people is the 30 that you have to get in person. However, we do hold quite a few conferences and you are able to do it. If you aren't, you can do it in 2 years. However, the biggest thing that could get some people is if you take some courses and attend a workshop in 2025 and you continue through 2026, but you're still not finished, when you come into 2027, you will drop all your credits that you gained in 2025. And then there is 5 core credits that you have to complete. You have ethics, finance, governance, the Open Meetings Act, and the Public Information Act. The open meetings and the public information, they have to be completed through the Attorney General. Those are the only 2 that have extra requirements when you try to get credit for them. You will have to send in your certificate that you get. The approved trainings, like I said, the workshops, webinars, and region meetings. We do have some that are not approved. Affiliate trainings like GFOAT and BOAT and things like that, as long as they pertain to the program, the other courses in that way. I ask that you send me the entire agenda so that I can look it over, and then my supervisor does look it over as well. Community service meetings, board meetings, city council meetings, those type of things, they cannot be counted towards. When you complete the program each year after that, you have to recertify. But it only requires 15 CEUs and only 8 of those in person. With the ethics trainings, you can do that one online as well. We have a lot of on-demand courses that you can take. And there's actually about 30 hours you can get online. So a lot of people do try to do those and then just get their 30 hours in between for the in-person. And then you can send your information to my email, the CMO email, or training. It's really up to you. They all go to me at the end of the day. It is a lot easier if you send them directly to me. I am the only person who manages the program. But if y'all have any questions at any point in time, I do not mind helping y'all. I encourage y'all to finish it within a year, so you can get a couple letters behind your name. And that's it for me.
Thank you.
Does anybody have any questions?
Who's gonna go?
Well, we'll reach out if we have any.
Okay,
Thank you, Shelby.
thank y'all.
Good night.
I gotta figure out how.
Okay.
So it's your laptop, it's got a thermal issue.
Got too many things going on.
All right. Okay, I don't know if you got quite the message I was hoping for from that brief. It's a good program. We might talk about it again in the future if y'all are interested. Ma'am, just to keep things moving. Okay, getting into the city administrator contract. Okay. Within the state of Texas, there are various kinds of cities. The main division between cities are home rule cities, cities with over 5,000 population that have a charter. It's a document that's kind of like a constitution for the city. And then you have general law cities. General law cities are cities that are governed directly by the statutes of the state and don't have a lot of the powers that home rule cities have. In order to administer the city, most councils bring in staff. Okay, it starts with the city secretary. A city secretary is required by statute, and then they'll bring in their public works folks, and then they'll bring in whoever else they need at the time to assist, because the council can't do it all by themselves. Eventually, in these cities, it gets to the point where they hire an administrator or a manager to come in and coordinate the staff on the council's behalf. And that's what y'all did with me back in June of 2024. Prior to June of 24, there was no city administrator, but y'all, not this council, but the previous council, pulled me in to act as the chief administrative officer for the city and implement the vision that y'all have as a council to enforce your ordinances and make sure that the administration is run smoothly. The whole deal about being a city administrator is doing everything that you can with the resources that you have available to you. And so you're coming in as a city administrator and you're looking at the budget, you're looking at things that are budgeted well, things that maybe funds could be shifted in other directions, just to maximize the best good, the closest that you can to the council's vision. So employee retention, it's expensive to turn over employees. You need to make sure you have the right employees. You need to have the right positions. You need the right people in those positions. You need to keep them. You need to make sure that you're keeping the contracts that you need and dropping the contracts that you don't. You need to have a plan for big infrastructure items, roads and water and wastewater and all the big projects that come along with the municipality. And that comes with a lot of planning. It's millions of dollars of planning. That comes along with grant funding, finding money that you're not getting from your taxpayers, reducing the tax burden on your residents, and coordinating interlocal and intergovernmental cooperation, such as the interlocal agreements that we have with Wise County for police services and with New Fairview for court services. Those ILAs by themselves save us, I can't even tell you how much money. It costs $2 million to stand up a police department, and that's something that we don't have to do because we found this opportunity to partner. It costs at least $120,000 to retain a skilled court administrator, and that's something we don't have to do because we have this interlocal agreement with New Fairview. And so we're always looking for ways to get the most out of our money. In order to squeeze every drop of usefulness we can out of the revenues that are available to us, we use a lot of third-party services. And so in a big city, a really big city, they'll have attorneys in-house. We can't afford it. We don't need it. And so we partner with a third-party legal firm. A big city will have a city engineer on the payroll, on staff. We can't afford it. We don't need it. And so we have a partnership with Belchip & Associates, and they are our engineer. Grant writers, even pretty small cities have grant writers on staff, but we've done a lot with grant writing just with the staff that we have. In the past 2 years, we've brought in about $1.3 million in grants without having a single person on staff to do that job. Almost every city has public works. We don't have it, we need it. But for now, in order to close the gap, we've been working for some years with Bar FS who come in and provide us with testing our residuals and doing repairs on our water lines and just keeping us afloat. Most cities will have an IT department. We don't have it. Can't afford it. And so we partner with a group called Cave Consulting to do our IT. These are all cost-saving measures. These are positions that could exist in-house, but in order to save money, we contract with a third party to get it done at the lowest price possible. A professional services agreement has advantages. So if you have a city engineer on staff, but he only does work a couple times a week, then most of the time he's just there and costing you money. And it's not just a salary that the employee costs you. Of course, every employee wants a high salary, but most people, even the employees, aren't aware of the taxes, FICA, Medicare, Medicaid, Social Security, that go into having an employee, of the costs of premium payments if you contribute to their benefits, of the costs of their retirement benefits, which can be in the 5 figures easily for each employee. These costs all add up. With a professional services agreement, you can refine your scope of work to just fine-tune it and tailor it to provide the services that you need, which is what we do with our engineer, which is what we do with our attorney, which is what we do with all these other groups. And you can draw the price down to just the right Goldilocks zone for these things. And the result is we get the professional services that we need while not having to deal with having a person on staff. Y'all hired me on the 16th of June 24. My contract expires on the 16th of June 26. I am a full-time employee. I have a salary. I have health benefits. Y'all contribute to my retirement, and y'all pay taxes associated with my employment. I'm grateful to have the job. I've done my best to do a good job for you, and I've brought in more than I cost. And so I think we have a lot to be proud of. But there are options other than the arrangements that we've had so far. It is a viable option to continue on rather than maintaining the city administrator on an employment contract, transitioning to a professional services contract. And what that would do is it would allow the council to tailor the scope of the position to find the best, most efficient use of the funds so that you receive the services that you need at the cost that the most optimal cost. I am willing to change to this sort of model. In fact, I would prefer to change to this sort of model. And so if it is something that y'all are interested in doing moving into the future, if you could give me some feedback on that, I can prepare some documents and have them ready for y'all to look at in our coming months. With that, I turn it over for any questions.
If we say no, are you going anywhere?
No, I have no intention to leave unless y'all don't want me. Being a city manager is like being a college football coach. You come in to make changes and they have a few six seasons and they get rid of it. And that's the game, and I know the game. I don't want to leave. We're doing good work. But this is an option. I think it's a good option. If y'all are interested in it, I'll work with you.
I think it's what you want. I think we should at least consider what you have, if you've got more information on it.
Ma'am? So the feedback I'm getting from the council right now is it's okay for me to bring y'all proposals.
Yes.
Okay. I will have those ready for you in the coming weeks and months. Okay. Ma'am, moving on. Okay. Talking about third-party services. The ecosystem around providing quality services to small cities is really blowing up, and it's exciting because due to all the technology, all the Zoom, and all the familiarity that we're getting with the technological environment, these small cities like us, little 650-person paradise, have access to services that would have been completely out of reach just 5 years ago. A good example of that is the ZachTax City Financial Officer program. So last month, a fellow named Robert Hanna was here, if you remember, here with ZachTax, and he gave y'all a brief on the services that are offered. What they offer is at a cost of $1,500 a month. They provide it's a consultant, but it's a consultant with a fiduciary responsibility to the city to serve as the city financial officer to do your bank reconciliations, help with your audit, do your fiscal planning, and the big one is the budget. The budget is the single most important document that the council produces, in my opinion. And so the expertise being offered here, these are people who are really deeply involved with the Government Finance Officers Association, which is an impressive association, and people who have been financial officers in previous cities and have the depth of knowledge that few people have. A CFO, or even just a finance director, and with any ability at all, if you want them full-time, that's a six-figure position. If they're good at their job, and they're in a city, unless it's a labor of love for them, they're going to be able to work in a city where they're earning more than I make. And so I think that this opportunity to bring on a qualified city financial officer to make sure that our finances are not only in compliance with state policy, but actually moving forward and achieving everything that can be achieved with the money, I believe that this will be a good program. And so it is on the discussion, the deliberation agenda for tonight. If y'all are interested in continuing on and trying out this proposal, it is up for consideration tonight. Do you have any questions about this program?
We do pay for at least one of those services currently, right?
So we do have a bookkeeper, and they do our bank reconciliations. We could either turn that off and save money on the bookkeeper side, or we could take that money and have them do more work for us, like payroll. They currently don't do payroll for us. Those are decisions that could be made once we knew the direction that we're headed on this item.
You're saying, when you said have them do payroll, having the original company do payroll, or having ZachTax?
Having our current bookkeeper.
Who is the current bookkeeper?
It is Wise, what's it called?
Wise Books?
Wise Books. I'm sorry, I'm blanking on the name right now. AccountWise. It's called AccountWise. Pardon me.
Is that all they do?
They have a scope, and I can pull it for you. I don't remember every item on their scope list. It is on the deliberation item agenda for tonight, but it does not have to be voted on tonight. As always, it can be voted on tonight or moved to a future meeting or whatever it is y'all want to do.
So with ZachTax, let's say, we don't use AccountWise, because I know there's questions that might come up about, how to implement taxes for an employee or for deductions for healthcare. Would ZachTax be able to answer these questions with the services listed here?
Yes, sir. So this is an item for deliberation tonight. Are there any questions?
Who's doing all that stuff right now outside of the bank reconciliation?
Well, we have an auditor who does our audit. We'd still need an auditor. We would have the bookkeeper who helps develop our audit paperwork. I make the budget, and we all cooperate on fiscal planning. It could be more procedural. It could be more efficient.
And you did say that they would be a fiduciary of the city.
Any other questions? Ma'am? Moving on. Community Development Block Grant. Okay, this is really easy. The CDBG grant is the $750,000 grant that we're trying to use to build a ground storage tank right next to our current water tower. There are 2 resolutions that need to get passed tonight. One of them is a signatory resolution that just says that the mayor or I can sign for the grant funds. The mayor pro tem and the city secretary are listed as secondary signers. There's also a phase 2 application resolution. We've already submitted the resolution for phase 1 saying that we want to pursue the funds. Now we've crossed over into phase 2. We have to send another resolution to say we still want the funds. So those are pretty boilerplate resolutions. They're on the consent agenda. Are there any questions? Okay. Ma'am? All right. Getting into fiscal year 27, community project funding appropriations requests. So this is the diagram of the Cedar Bend ground storage tank project that the city's been working on for a good 3 or 4 years. This is the project that we were discussing when we said we might take that $4 million loan to build this project. If y'all remember the USDA loan that we discussed. And we had decided that it probably wasn't a good idea for us to take out a loan that big, and we were going to use that USDA funds, the USDA loan offer to pay off the rest of that ground storage tank next to the water tower. Y'all remember that clearly? But we still have this project. We've done all the work that goes into planning and designing this project, and it's there. It's a shovel-ready project, ready for us to begin. So, a couple weeks ago, I got a phone call from a fellow named Graham Wise, excuse me. Graham Wise is the legislative director for Congressman Gill, Texas 26. And I've been talking with him for about a year and a half, trying to figure out when is Congress approving all these appropriations funds to help communities like ours. And he sent me a message, and he said, Chance, there's an opening. If you give me a package, I'll see what I can do, but you need to get it in by Friday. And I had 3 days to put a package together. And so, since it was a hot item, what I did is I went ahead and took this project and all of the work that we had done in order to submit it to the USDA, and I sent it to Congressman Gill's office under a program called the EPA STAG, Environmental Protection Agency. I don't remember what STAG stands for, I'm sorry, but it's the Drinking Water Fund. The total proposed cost of the project is $3.839 million. I submitted that grant request to the congressman. The congressman looked at it, liked it, and he's put it forward. He's taken it to the Appropriations Committee in Congress, and it is up for consideration for funding by congressional appropriation. It's a big step. It's big to make it past the congressional staff screening and get to the congressman and get to the House Appropriations Committee. It's got a decent shot of passing. There's no guarantee that it'll pass, but it's got a decent shot. We will follow this bill as it goes through the House Appropriations process. It's going to have to go through the House Appropriations Committee, and then it's going to have to go before the House vote, and then it's going to have to go to the Senate, and then it's got to be signed by the President, and then once it's signed by the President, it has to be enacted with the EPA, and then the EPA would have to get the funds to us, and it can take 1.5 years for that to happen. And so, over the next 1.5 years, we'll follow it. I wanted y'all to be aware that that's something that we put in. Hopefully it gets passed. If it gets passed, we can have a discussion on how or if y'all want to implement it. And if we were able to build ground storage tanks at Cedar Bend and at the water tower, our ground storage situation will actually be pretty healthy. And that would be beneficial for everybody, including and especially the fire department. The ESD wrote a letter of support for this appropriations request, expressing how much better it'll be for their emergency operations to get the storage in place. And so that is something that's in the works, no action required. Do I have any questions? Okay. Cave Consulting, moving fast. In 2024, the United States government updated the ADA, it's the American with Disabilities Act, and there are new requirements that say that municipalities all throughout the country, not just Texas, but all throughout the country, have to update their websites to be in compliance with ADA. And so there's new technologies that people are using, screen readers and AI tools that interact with your website and help people understand what's going on with their local government. The old HTML doesn't work with these new apps. And we have until 2027 to make our website compliant with the new federal requirements. And so we're going to have to redo our website. That's what it comes down to. I asked the city secretary to get with our current IT provider and see what could be done to bring us into ADA compliance. And they gave us two options. Option one is a one-time renovation of the HTML structure of our site to make it compatible with all these new applications. It would cost $6,500. Well, if it's a one-year commitment, $6,500, $5,500 for a multi-year agreement, which it most likely would be a multi-year agreement. And then an ongoing cost of $2,000 a year. So that's to meet the bare requirement. Good to go. Option two is interesting. Like I said earlier, this fractional services environment in municipal government is really picking up steam. They are offering a digital staff member to serve as the website manager for an ongoing cost of about $3,500 a year. So $8,000 or $6,000 up front for the first year, $3,500 a year after that. Again, if it replaces a full-time employee, it's savings. So those are the options that were presented to us. This item is not up for decision today. It's only a brief today. Depending on the feedback that I received from y'all tonight, I'll bring that forward for consideration in April. Any questions?
Yes, the ongoing cost for $2,000 a year for the option one, is that on top of what we already pay, or is that replacing what we pay?
It would replace.
Okay. Do you know what we pay now?
No, sir.
And I know we had talked about this does not do any conversion of PDFs.
No. They will have tools to help us create compliant PDFs. But
Would they provide training for that?
yes,
Okay.
they would. That was explicitly part of their scope. The process of redoing all the existing PDFs and bringing them into ADA is a whole other can of worms. But this is the first step.
Are there any, is there any leeway for documents past the 2027?
So the law had distinctions between cities over 50,000 people and under 50,000 people. My understanding is that if you have over 50,000 people, you already have to be converted to this. For cities under 50,000 people, we have until 2027, and that's the bucket that we fall into. Will there be leeway for afterwards? Well, as a practical matter, it's going to be very difficult for all cities to change their hundreds of thousands of documents into something accessible by a screen reader. And so I think, although the statute says it needs to be accessible, what this is a signal that we need to do the best we can to make things accessible. And we will do everything that we can, understanding that even in this little city, there are tens of thousands of documents that we have that will be difficult to convert.
And I guess as accessibility software gets better, I'm sure the PDF thing will get better.
It's very possible.
What is the full scope of work for all of this?
It's included in the council packet.
Okay. I'll look at it.
Yes, sir. So, I had intended to have a fellow from Cave Consulting here tonight. Unfortunately, he wasn't able to come. I'll bring him in April, if that's okay with y'all, and discuss it again. And depending on your feedback, would y'all like to have the option to consider it for deliberation in April?
I'd like to have more than one quote to consider for deliberation, excuse me.
Yes, sir.
Same.
Does that would then also require, I don't know if they would allow for that outside vendor to mess with their server.
Right.
Whether they keep it locally.
That stuff can be forwarded to any server.
You know what I'm saying? Would we then be moving over to an entirely new hosting company?
Yeah,
But yeah, I'd still like to see at least one other.
I mean, I spent 25 years in the school system and I could never do anything without 3 cost proposals. And I just think it's good business.
Yes, sir.
I'm sure these guys do a great job, but
Yeah.
we gotta watch our pennies.
Currently pay $1,000 a year.
We pay $1,000 a year right now. Well, obviously it's gonna go up, even if we don't choose these guys, just based on the numbers that they've got up there. You know. That stuff's above my pay grade, I can tell you, but I do understand money.
So the feedback I'm getting right now is that we'd like to see another proposal. If we have another proposal from another vendor, that may mean that we lose our relationship with our current vendor. That's okay. We'll get more proposals.
Are you saying he'll bail just because you get another cost proposal?
Well, if we changed our site,
Well, I didn't say that. I said get a cost proposal. We're not changing the site. And we have a computer expert sitting right there.
so we'll bring another proposal and have the folks here in person and have it up for consideration on the next council meeting. Okay. All right, Paradise Water rates. We had a request to discuss the water rates in the city of Paradise. And that is a big topic, and I'm going to do the best I can to keep it short and clear. It's still going to be complicated, and so please have patience with me. Water comes from 2 sources. It comes from surface water or groundwater. Surface water is any water that's exposed to the sky. So natural lakes, rivers, reservoirs. Groundwater is almost always aquifers. Okay, and so when we draw water, we're always talking about whether we're drawing surface water or groundwater. It's much better to draw surface water because surface water can be replenished easily. You just dump more water into the reservoir. But if you draw out too much of your groundwater, it'll create a vacuum in the ground and gravity will push it down and the sands will compact and it'll destroy the aquifer. It'll never refill. And so it's important to only withdraw from an aquifer its natural rate of replenishment. Okay, so that's just a key piece of information that's important for everyone to know. All of our water comes from surface. So our water comes from the 4 big reservoirs in our area. So we all know about Lake Bridgeport and Eagle Mountain Lake. On the other side of Dallas and Fort Worth, there's Cedar Creek Reservoir and Richland Chambers Reservoir. Those 4 reservoirs, those man-made lakes, are owned by the Tarrant Regional Water District. And TRWD is the big dog when it comes to water in North Texas. They own the lakes. They're the ones who issued the debt and spent the billions of dollars necessary in order to build the lakes. Now, TRWD is the wholesaler. They own the bulk water. And they sell it to subordinate agencies throughout Texas. And the subordinate Texas that we draw from is Walnut Creek SUD. And so Walnut Creek Special Utility District is a retailer. They take the bulk water from TRWD and they sell it at retail to customers. Walnut Creek Special Utility District sells the water to us, as well as a bunch of other people. So they sell it to municipalities, the unincorporated communities like Cottondale, and rural areas. Individual customers can contract with Walnut Creek Sud to get the water that they need. Water sales in Texas are governed by a system called the CCN system. They're Certificates of Convenience and Necessity. And what a CCN is it is a franchised right of a utility to sell water in that area. The person who owns the CCN in an area has the exclusive right to sell water in that area. No one else can come in and sell water. It is that utility's right to sell the water in that area. A lot of municipalities have their own CCN because they produce their own water. We don't produce our own water. We don't have any water of our own. We get all of our water from outside, so we have no CCN. We have no control over the water going on around us. So we purchase the water from Walnut Creek Sud. It comes in through the master meter that's right there by the water tower. We're contracted at a rate of 300 gallons per minute. It goes up into the water tower. We store it there as potential energy. The gravity from the water in the tower pressurizes all our pipes, so you turn the water, gravity pushes the water through your faucet, and that's how we deliver water to our residents. So residents buy it from us. We buy it from Walnut Creek Sud. Walnut Creek Sud buys it from Tarrant Regional Water District. All of this is expensive. Building the lake is expensive. Laying the pipes is expensive. It's extremely expensive to lay the pipes because you have to buy easements or right-of-way through private property in order to lay the pipes. You have to, it's expensive to treat the water and build the water treatment center. It's expensive to transport it to water storage. It's expensive to build water storage. We're looking at spending $4 million just to build one tank at Cedar Bend. It's expensive at every step, and it's heavily subsidized by government spending, okay, to keep it as cheap as it can be. I know this is an eye chart, and I apologize. I know this is difficult to look at, and I apologize. It was requested to me that I help compare the different water rates around Wise County, which is a very difficult thing to do because there's no standard water rate. Different cities have different rates for different customers at different times. So we, as a city, charge a base rate. If you look at the very top here, we charge a base rate of $45 that pays for the first 1,000 gallons. And then after the first 1,000 gallons, it's $8.91 per 1,000 gallons up to 5,000. Once you pass 5,000, you go up to 10,000, that's $10.35 per 1,000 gallons, and so on. So if you look at the top row, I want to make sure everyone's understanding. That is our rate per 1,000 gallons. Is that making sense? Any questions about that? Okay. Now, when you look down here, Newark has a base rate that goes up to 2,000 gallons. Decatur has a base rate that doesn't account for any water. That's just the amount you pay regardless of whether you use water. Same with Bridgeport. Same with Alvord. Boyd has a base rate of $46 up to 2,000 gallons. So we are all starting from a different base rate. And it goes onward. We then calculate from 1,000 to 5,000. Newark calculates from 2,000 to 6,000. You see all these differences. So it's not apples to apples comparison. It's oranges to oranges. Excuse me, apples to oranges, pardon me. And so what I've done is I've put these in rough groups. Roughly, the average base charge in Wise County for these cities, the average base rate is $38.72. Roughly, the average cost per 1,000 gallons from $1,000 to 6,000 gallons is about $6.51. And so you see a very rough approximation of what the average is. Okay, now that brings us to an obvious point. Our average, our water rates for the base charge, 1,000 to 6,000, 2,000 to 10,000, are higher than the average rate for these comparator cities. The average base charge is $38.72. We charge $45. The average for 1,000 to 6,000 is $8. The average is $6.51. We charge $8.91. For 2,000 to 10,000, the average is $9. We charge $10.35. So our rates look higher than the rates across other parts of the county. There are reasons for that. For example, when you look at Decatur and Bridgeport and Alvord, those are base costs that you factor in without even considering the amount of water that flows through the pipe. And when you look at a city like Decatur and you see, good night, how in the world are they managing to charge $2.30 per 1,000 gallons up to 2,000 gallons? How do they achieve that? That is so much smaller than anyone else. Look, Boyd is charging $12.21 for that amount of water. How are they managing it? Well, two things. One, they have an economy of scale where they have one plant and they serve many customers, right? But also, they're selling a lot more water. Look at these amounts. If you have water customers who are paying this amount of money to spend 500,000 gallons or more per month, you can use that to counterbalance the amount of money that you're charging to your smaller users. And it's just another example of how if you have enough economic development, you can offload the burden from the homeowner and put it on the commercial properties. It's the same with property tax, it's the same with utility rates. That's how that's being achieved. And so our rates are as displayed on the screen, and they are comparable to the other municipalities in Wise County. We did a water study in 2025 and brought in an analyst to come in and tell us if our water rates were reasonable. And his recommendation to us was, you need to do what Decatur and Bridgeport and Alvord have done. And you need to have a base rate that doesn't factor in water. And we have not gone that way. Even though we have big water projects on the horizon that we know we're going to need money to pay for, I haven't even asked the council to increase our water rate because we don't want to put that hardship on the water customer. The question's been asked. Okay, we have the water rates. The water rates are, some are higher, some are lower than other parts of the county. Why are we making money? Why do we have these six-figure account balances in our water accounts? In quarter one, we had, just in December I briefed this, in our water and wastewater fund, we have $273,000 sitting there. We do. Our water and wastewater fund, $155,000. That money is there. Water impact fund, $189,000. That water is there. We have $600,000 in the bank just sitting there. Why? Because we have projects coming up in the future. And so whenever you have a big project on the horizon, there are two ways to pay for it. Same as a house. You can pay for it in cash, or you can pay for it in a mortgage, right? And so as a municipality, we have two options. We can save up cash, or we can take out bonds. Those are the two ways we have to fund our infrastructure projects. And so there are upsides and downsides to both of those ways of doing it. If you're sitting on a bunch of cash, people are going to wonder, why don't you spend the cash? If you don't save up the cash and you take out bonds, people will ask, well, why didn't council plan when they knew they were going to have to build this infrastructure and we're taking on all this debt? And so it's 6 of one, half a dozen of the other. The course of action that the council has chosen to take to this point has been save the cash, be conservative, be ready for future projects, keep our powder dry. That's what we've been doing. Now, if the council changes its mind and wants to use this money, hopefully these grants all come through and we'll have commitments to match with, and that would be a good use of these one-time funds. That sort of thing is why the money is there. But as it is right now, people have asked for an explanation of why that money's there, and that's why the money's there. Our budgets are tight. Although we have a lot of cash sitting, You can't pay for repeating obligations in one-time cash. For example, we really need to hire a public works person full-time to be paying attention to the roads, to be paying attention to the street signs, to be paying attention to the water, to be looking ahead to capital improvement. We need someone who can do that. But we only have a $10,000 gap between our revenues and our expenditures on the year. And so unless we can afford a person for $10,000, there's no more money to be wrung out of that budget, despite the cash we have on hand. Same with our water impact fund. These are one-time revenues. When a developer comes in and they build new housing and they put extra strain on our water, which is limited. Our water supply and storage is limited. If they're going to put that strain on our system, they have to pay the impact fee. They have to pay into the impact fund. It's a one-time revenue. If we're not building anything, we're not getting revenues. There was a period of time before fiscal year 23 when Old Town Estates was being built and Windmill Ridge was being built, and we were getting a huge amount of impact fee payments. And it looked like we were just gaining all the money in the world. But those were one-time revenues for one-time constructions. And that money is set aside for a one-time use. So it was requested that we provide a brief as to why our water system is the way it is. That has been my presentation. Are there any questions?
Do those cities like Decatur pay less for their water than we do?
I don't know what their contracts are, sir.
It's
Yeah, I don't know.
supply and demand.
Yes, sir. I don't even know who their retailer is.
I know Bridgeport may not pay as much, but they do complain about their water. I've never complained about my water.
Ma'am? Continuing on. Water line extension policy. So earlier in the meeting, I explained how CCNs work, and so Walnut Creek Sud owns the certificate of convenience and necessity to provide water within this part of Wise County, and a large bulk of Parker County as well. And so the city of Paradise is empowered to provide water within its city limits, but the law becomes very complicated once you start talking about things being outside of city limits. The policy of the city up to this point has been, we will provide water to people within our city limits. It has been thought that it would be a good idea to formalize that statement and just make it clear as day for any future event. And so on the consent agenda of this meeting, there is a resolution that states and clarifies for posterity that the policy of the city is to allow Walnut Creek Sud to provide water outside of city limits, and that the city will provide inside city limits. Are there any questions about that one? Ma'am? Okay. Resilient Communities Program grant update. I think this is my last brief. You all know that we received the $300,000 Resilient Communities Program grant. That grant is a planning grant. We're using it to update our comprehensive plan. That was what our city survey was about, and we're about to get into the real meat of this process. We're required by federal law, because we're using federal funds, we're required by federal law to have a series of town hall meetings. There are going to be 3 of them. There are going to be 3 town hall meetings. They're going to be here. It's going to be here inside this room. The tables are going to be set out. There will be maps. There will be water system maps, road maps, maps for future parks, trails, everything. And our consultants are going to be here. And anyone from the council who wants to be here will be here. And people can come and talk to the consultants and write on the map, show what they want done. I want a road from here to here. I want a trail from here to there. That is what I want to see. And then we will take all those into consideration for our planning. So that's happening. Here is the ad for the town hall meeting. I'm going to have it printed out on the corrugated plastic and have it posted up around town, staple it to the post out front. Everyone is invited. Thursday, April 16th, from 6 until, it says until 7, but really it's until the bar closes, right?
That'd be 2 o'clock then, right?
If they're that passionate about the city, then I would welcome it. Now, in addition to the town hall meeting, so the town hall meeting is scheduled, it's good to go, it's taken care of. A lot of cities, when they do these comprehensive plans, they will appoint what's called a citizen advisory committee. And they'll choose representatives from the community to serve as a committee to talk with the comprehensive planning consultants and direct the way that the comprehensive plan is put together. And so the council might appoint someone who's a skilled businessman and knows business interests. The council might appoint someone who has deep community ties and is plugged in with the school and the historical society and knows the culture. The council might choose to plug in somebody who is an expert in infrastructure and just knows all about how roads and pipes work. And they would be the body, they would be the pool of experts that we get together to represent the city and steer the Comprehensive Planning Committee as they get ready to present their plans to council. It's not a requirement to do that, but a lot of people do. I have been advised that 6 is a good number of people to have on the committee, and that anything more than that starts to get unwieldy. But it's the council's call. If y'all want to have 40, go for it. Or if you don't want to do it at all, that's fine. But what I'm asking now, is there any guidance from the council? Would you all like to have a citizen advisory committee? And if so, do you have any idea of how you'd like to go about telling me to build it?
I think it's a good idea.
I think we should do that.
Okay?
So how would we go about it? Would we all nominate and then that would
Sure.
work?
That would make sense to me. There are 5 council members and the mayor, and if each person picked a trusted individual to come and represent the city, that seems pretty natural to me. But again, that's y'all's call.
Do they have to be residents of the city, or can they be outside of the city?
This is totally y'all's decision.
We make up the rules.
Yes, sir. And so if it's very easy to imagine, hey, there's this fella, he lives outside of city limits, but he's been in Wise County for 50 years, and he knows this place like the back of his hand, and he should be on the committee. He would be useful. There's a case to be made for somebody like that. Or here's a person who has the kind of projects, capital projects, development projects, whatever it is. That's the kind of project we want to see in Paradise. And so even though he doesn't live here, we'll pull him in and put him on the advisory committee. That's the sort of thing that the council could do. So, ma'am, is that something you're interested in doing?
I think so.
Okay. If it's okay with the council, then I'll just get with the mayor in the coming weeks and
Set up a game plan.
put up a game plan. Okay? All right. Any other questions before we start, or before we move on?
If you're gonna do this, you're gonna put it out there and ask for people that are interested in it?
I was gonna ask that.
I think that would be something that we're gonna have a conversation about, how to go about it.
Put that on the table as well.
I mean, my only comment towards any of this is which committee or which, do we still have an EDC?
Yes, sir.
Which is the one that we don't have.
Or,
P&Z,
planning
we-
and zoning, yeah.
We don't have that because we couldn't get enough people to sit on it. So I would be cautious in the number of people you put on this.
Well, I think this being a limited time thing, I think we'd have more people willing to do it because it's only gonna last for so long. P&Z was forever.
Well, I just felt obligated to throw that out there.
You're right.
So the guidance I'm hearing is that y'all do want to see a citizens advisory committee, and I will present options to the mayor and see what she thinks.
Okay.
Well, should we have an even number though? Or they're not gonna be voting, they're just gonna be kind of presenting ideas
Right.
and compiling.
Right. Unless you want them to vote.
No. You can't do it.
You can make them vote.
That's what I was saying.
You can't do it with 6 because somebody's got to break the tie.
Well, that'd just be a filibuster. Anyway,
Something that we don't know how to do in this country.
yes, sir. Okay, so, Mayor, is it okay if you and I work this through later? Okay. Should I move on? Okay. That is the end of our briefs for today, going into citizen communication.
Chance, can I ask you one thing before?
Yes, ma'am.
Citizens communications, we did 3 per, but I know we've got a lot of information on this.
Yes, ma'am.
Do we let him do the 3 minutes, but also request to eventually to put it on?
As a special accommodation,
Brief, yeah.
I think it's completely within your power to grant a special consideration. Yes, ma'am.
So he's down as
Thank
a
you.
citizen communication.
Yeah, he's done as citizen.
Okay, he's not on the agenda.
Not on the agenda, because I don't mind giving him extra time. Alright, where's my sheet? At this time, the public is invited to address the city council and speak on any matter not specifically listed for public hearing elsewhere on this agenda. Please note that the city council members may not respond or comment or deliberate on topics if they are not included on this agenda. Each citizen will be allowed 3 minutes to address the city council. If you wish to speak during citizen communications, please sign up with the city secretary before the meeting begins. We'll go ahead and start with Steve Downey.
Good evening, Mayor and the council. My name is Steve Downing, live at 112 Moreland Street. I'm here tonight to speak about our community's emergency preparedness, specifically our need for a modern tornado siren warning system with automated activation. As we know, North Texas is a high-risk area for rapid onset severe weather. While many of us rely on our phones for alerts, mobile networks can fail, lose power, or be delayed during a major storm. Furthermore, for those working outdoors, residents without smartphones, or visitors in our public spaces, there is currently a critical gap in our ability to provide immediate life-saving notification when a tornado is imminent. I am requesting that the council investigate and budget for the installation of an outdoor warning system. Specifically, I am asking for a system that features automatic activation tied directly to the National Weather Service polygon warnings. By automating the sirens, we eliminate human delay. Sirens sound the second a warning is issued, rather than waiting for a local official to manually trigger the siren, which we have here. We reduce error and ensure sirens only sound when our specific areas in the danger zone, reducing warning fatigue. We provide redundancy. It serves as a vital fail-safe alongside the Wise County severe weather notification. The city of Paradise is covered by an antiquated system. It is not connected to the National Weather Service for automated warning. An individual must enter the fire station and manually start the warning siren. There is no automated text or push messages that go out to the citizens of Paradise. The current siren does not provide coverage for the newly annexed Windmill Ridge Estates. There is also no monthly test for the single siren that we do have in Paradise. Neighboring communities like Boyd has 3 sirens, Rome with 3 sirens, and Bridgeport with more than one, but I'm not sure, I couldn't find out how many they actually have. They already have these systems to protect their citizens. Investing in this infrastructure is a proactive step that improves the safety of Paradise residents is our top priority. The paper that you have is just some initial data on National Weather Service integrated systems that I have provided for your review. Assistance for funding may be provided by available grants. Additionally, the location of the new high school may allow cooperation between the city, county, and/or school district for grants, funding, or cost sharing with the school district for warning coverage. In October 2022, the City Council discussed trying to get a second siren for the city, suggesting the newly purchased Cedar Bend property to have better siren coverage. It was suggested that a refurbished 10-year-old unit could be purchased for $4,000. Francis Prindle made the motion to proceed with the purchase, seconded by John Ward. The motion passed unanimously. As we are aware, this did not occur. In retrospect, the purchase and installation in 2022 of a steel antiquated siren system would have far exceeded just the purchase price of the siren. As a concerned citizen, I would like to offer my assistance to the council or city administrator on this matter. Thank you for your time and your dedication to our sound safety. Thank you.
Thank you. Lori? North Mesquite Street still? Okay.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. Paradise is one of Wise County's fastest growing towns and has widely sought after A-rated schools. This portfolio has a fabulous cash flow and an alluring cap rate, built and owned by a custom home builder. Options exist for additional SFR and 1.959 acre plus or minus directly across the street at 102 North Mesquite Street. Plans already exist for multiple quadplexes in this location, or a new owner can build to suit. Seller is a builder and developer and willing to bid or build anything a new owner's heart desires. It's hard to get a good return on your investment in today's economy. If you've wanted to get into rental real estate, this is a wonderful opportunity with loads of potential for growth in all the right directions. 176 days on Zillow. This is a Zillow listing that has been on the market for 176 days for the property you recently rezoned from R1 to R2, so Mr. Lamb could build townhomes. At the February 3rd, 2026 council meeting, I asked you how this rezoning change benefited the city or the citizens of Paradise. Mr. Whitten replied, "What we have to look at is the character of the person and intents of their past or what they are putting forward now. He does have good evidence of wanting to do good." In the discussion, Mr. Whitten also asked Mr. Lamb, "You do credit checks, background checks, and criminal background checks?" And Mr. Lamb confirmed all three. Mr. Whitten also asked if this was a long-term investment. Again, Mr. Lamb confirmed that it was. Now we know that Mr. Lamb knowingly houses not one, but two sex offenders in his housing. He's had all the properties on the market for 176 days, no long-term investments there. And he never widened Ash Street as he had dedicated to do. Mr. Lamb lied to this council. Lying diminishes credibility, and credibility is what this council based their decision on to rezone his property. Before you make any additional approvals for this North Mesquite property, I am asking the council to require him to widen Ash Street as he dedicated to do 4 years ago. And he needs to answer for lying to the council about doing criminal background checks and this whole deal about being a long-term investment. You can find the discussion that I'm referring to at 1 hour, 6 minutes, and 14 seconds in the February 3rd, 2026 council meeting. Thank you.
Frank Salerno. I didn't.
I'm excited, Frank. I missed you last month.
We missed you. Missed all the fun. Won't be so bad this time. I did want to hand a couple of things out to the council. As always, as Mr. Ward knows, I was a former teacher and coach as well, so passing things out to the students is always important. So we will start with that. If I get my papers just here. This will be short. I'm passing out to you minutes from December 2022 City Council meeting, as well as the agenda, as well as an ordinance that was passed, the amendment of 0583 and the mayor compensation pay. As you can see on that agenda, there is no mention of any discussion about changing or amending the ordinance and of mayoral compensation. There was a vote taken to amend the duties of the mayor, as well as motion made and approved or voted on to increase the mayor's pay to $500 a month in December of 2022. Mr. Whitten, as a private citizen, made a comment that this was not legal right now because it was not on the agenda, so you can't do it. That's an open violation of the Texas Open Meetings Act. After that, Mr. Tucker made the motion to table the amending of the ordinance, and it was approved. You will see at the end, there's a duly passed ordinance on December 2022 for the amendment of an ordinance that was duly passed in December 2022. You can't have a duly passed ordinance if it was never voted on or approved. Therefore, you can't have an increase in mayor pay if it was never voted on and approved. Moving forward, in January of 23, the ordinance did state, you did pass an ordinance then, but it did not state the mayor compensation. So $12,000 of taxpayers' funds have been paid to the former mayor without any vote or approval of compensation. That's an illegal expenditure of taxpayer funds. We talked about it a couple of times, don't know if it's on the agenda or ever going to be fixed, so tonight, we're going to ramp it up just a hair. I'm officially hand delivering to the city a formal demand letter for recoupment of all lawful expenditures of mayor's pay. The city now has 10 days to reply of how they statutorily make that right, because it was all illegal according to the Open Meetings Act. While we're at it, I'm also going to formally deliver the repeal of Ordinance 24175 that was discussed last meeting, as that violates multiple laws, violations of laws. And while we're at it, I'm also giving a formal demand letter for the annexation of Windmill Ridge, because it did not provide a development agreement, which is required by law. A subdividers agreement and a service agreement are not development agreements. So you requested, those are requested to be responded to satisfactorily within 10 days. And if they're not, they will be sent to Andy Hopper and Tan Parker to go to the Attorney General's office and the State Auditor's office. And we'll be requesting 6 years of audits. I'll also be referring to the District Attorney for illegal expenditures of taxpayers' funds. Thank you for your time.
Now moving on.
Yes.
On the consent agenda today, there are 5 items. First one are the minutes from February 23rd. Second one are the minutes from March 11th. Items C and D are the 2 CDBG resolutions that I mentioned earlier. The first one, item C, is the Phase 2 program application. And item D is the signatory authority to receive the funds. Item E there is the policy clarifying water service extensions within city limits. Ma'am, that is everything on consent.
Start the first one.
We'll do them all together. You can approve them all together.
Oh, okay.
So I'll just go ahead and make a motion if we approve the consent items that are on the agenda here.
Do you have a second?
I second that.
All 4? I'll have to vote. Passes.
And then we move on to our only deliberation item for the night. This is the proposal by Zach Tex to provide city financial officer services to Paradise.
We have time for discussion or what? This is one we'd have to vote on, correct? Yeah, my concern is, I'd rather vote for this when we know exactly what's gonna happen with you, and you don't know that yet. You were gonna give us some information in the near future. Okay?
Yes, sir.
So we want to table this until we get some
Yeah,
information?
until he gives us his, what's actually gonna happen. We see what his duties are and everything.
So do we need to table it?
It's mayor's call.
Table it for, do we have to give you a date or just,
Next meeting,
well, he's not gonna, what, would you have all the document, like what we're asking him for, would he have it all by then?
I don't know, ask him.
It's whatever you all wanna do. If you don't wanna take action on it tonight, there's nothing that requires you to. It's just up to you all.
So we table it until the next meeting.
Next meeting?
Does that require a vote? Okay.
No gavel?
No gavel, I'm sorry. Ma'am, that was the last item that we have.
Make a motion to adjourn.
Second.
All right, all four? Alright. Meeting in, oh! Thanks, Chance. 7:16, end of the meeting.
See.